back again with some dodgy chemicals. The paint stripper I mixed up in my last video didn't work as well as I wanted on some of the paint on the engine. It hardly touched the blooming tank. It bubbled it in a couple of places. It was useless. So I decided to bite the bullet and spend a fortune, and I've got myself 2 tins of VHT Stripfast. I've never used it before. The American one is called, what is it? Aircraft remover. But you can't really get that in the UK. So this stuff it works out about £10 a tin. Just for a little tin like that. But you can get it from Frost. If you do a lot of classic cars or bikes, you'll have heard of Frost. It's 2 sellers on eBay. I can't remember the name of one of them, and I've now forgot the name of the other one that I bought this off. I've got the clock out. It's between 1/4 and 20 past. I've got my window open. I'm not wearing any protective gear because, well, I'm a man and I'm not bothered about dying. Let's see what happens. So what I didn't say, which I should have, was the reason it's like this now is I did actually scuff it up with a paint and rust removing jobby from my grinder, just because I do know that I put a huge amount of clear coat on this. I'm already seeing some bubble in action. I'll leave you to it while I go and talk to my neighbour. Right, so I was a little bit longer there. What's that? Oh, God's sake. 20 minutes. You can see it's bubble like mad. I didn't turn my light off. Oh yeah, that's loads of light. Well, it's definitely done. Oh, it's done the clear coat, but it doesn't seem to. It's obviously got a bit of the green, but that could be what's right. It has done better than everything else has done so far. It is really kind of sticky and gooey now. You can tell it's just really doing the clear coat. Why is that grey? That's weird. Really done the clear coat because the exploited stick is still there. Need a cloth. Okay, that's kind of weird. That it's done a right good job on the clear coat, but hasn't really touched the green. And the green isn't 2-pack or anything like that. Just a 1K paint. So what I'll do is I'll take some time to strip all this. In fact, and then I'll do the engine, the paint that's on the engine, and see what happens with that as well. So at least we're trying 2 different types. I'm not fully happy with that. I might have to send this out to get fucking blasted. I really didn't want to do that. But what I did really buy this Stripfast for was to do the engine. And I thought, well, I can at least try it on the... that is some manky shit. Okay, so on the engine, a lot of it hasn't come off. I'm just going to do it on this surface for now, because at the end of the day that's hidden in a way. So this is just my cylinder head. Okay, that's already working in a minute. Let's just leave it, so I'll leave it 10-15 minutes and see what that turns into. If it means taking it down to the pressure wash again, that's fine, I don't mind doing that. Morrison's might, but fuck 'em. Right, so it's been 10, nearly 15 minutes. Oh, it has definitely hit some of it, quite a lot of it. It has certainly worked better than that home mix stuff I had. Why is that not coming off though? Some of it, it's weird that, some of it has and some of it hasn't. Let me just get a kitchen thing that got implemented into garage work. Right, that's coming off pretty well. With a bit of agitation, a lot of that is. I'm now splattering shit everywhere. But I would say that's a success. That's a better success than the shit I made up. So what I should say, the chemical that I put in the last one is in this methylene chloride. Yep. Where's this made at? Made in USA, so that's why we can get it. It's still available here. You do go through quite a lot of it pretty quick, and at 10 quid, that makes things a bit dodgy. But say maybe 3-4 cans to do an entire engine. What's it cost to get some aqua blasted? 150 quid. So yeah, it'll probably do the job. And it means I don't have to try and figure a way of getting this up to get aqua blasted. So what I'll do is I will coat this entire engine in this stuff, let it do its stuff, and then get it up to the pressure washer at some point. Probably take 2 coats of that stuff. This is why I bought 2 cans of it, because, well, I knew this would happen. But yeah, so far, I quite like this stuff. I'm not sure why it hasn't really worked on the tank, because yeah, the clear coat's coming off. It's made it quite sticky, but I don't understand why it's not touching the green stuff, because the green stuff technically is shit. It wasn't expensive stuff. It were about 20 quid or something like that. But I'll look into that. I'll probably have to do that by hand with a sander. But yeah. Warning, do as I say, not as I do. Wear gloves, wear a respirator, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it seems to work. Right, so let's have a look. So on the paint that's on the engine, which is obviously must be enamel, this works great. The tank, it hasn't. It had strange. I did just put a huge amount of it there, and it did just peel off. But the amount of it to do it now, I really should have just gone out and bought a sander. So what I'll do, I'll let that dry, and then I'll do that by hand with the sander. But the engine I'll just take down to Morrison's and hit with the jet wash. It's made enough of it bubble up, which means it's obviously loosened it from the surface. Oh shit, sorry, I'm not looking at the screen. It's definitely working. One thing I will say is definitely wear a mask. I started to feel so woozy when I was doing all the engine bits. Definitely wear a mask. See you later. Okay, so this is after jet wash. Let me just get this trolley out of the way. There's still quite a lot. It's actually quite loose, so it has had an effect on it, but the jet wash is a bit shit. Well, you know what Morrison's and ones are like. If I had a better pressure wash, it'd be better, obviously, but I think the correct way to do this would be to do one lot, wash it off, and then do it again for any remnants that are left. There are a lot of remnants, but like I say, everything is weak, so it has touched it. My casings, they're pretty much finished now. There's a couple of little bits which I can probably get off with a razor blade. There's quite a lot on this one. Thankfully it's all in the little places that are hidden, so I'm not that bothered. I'm having to reduce my perfectionist ways, because I like to be a perfectionist, but I like to save money as well. So I like experimenting with stuff. I'd like to find the really cheap stuff and go, hey, I can save money for the rest of my life. But yeah, I think it's pretty much ready. It's not perfect, but the places that are going to be really visible, they pretty much are. So I'm not too fussed. What's that in there? Yeah, bit of gunk. These will go in the bathtub and get showered again at some point. Right, here we go. This is a perfect example right here. And let's have a look what happens. Oh well, nothing. Fucking great. Let's go to this one. Where it has weakened it, you can tell in some places. But yeah, is it worth 10 quid? In fact, it is worth 10 quid a can, given how much I actually spent on the other shit. Like in there's nothing. Now, the reasoning behind why that hasn't come off, I don't really know. Maybe I didn't get enough in, maybe it's because of the way I was holding the can. I would say yes, it's worth 10 quid a can. If you are doing small enough areas and you haven't got a sandblaster, or it's something you don't want to sandblast, like these. You do not want to touch them with a sandblaster. And you might be able with an aqua blaster or vapor blasting. If someone could tell me that, I'm hoping Matt at the workshop can't, because what the hell's that? That's nothing. That was a thing I was bothered about. A bit of aluminium tape would stop that doing any damage. Because, especially with these, they're actually really clean bores. There's no damage in them, considering it's got to have done over 100,000 miles this. But yeah, there's no scoring or anything in them. You can't see a thing. And my torch isn't there. But yeah, is it worth it? Yes. If you're doing it yourself, I suppose. But I would say, do it once. Go and get it jet washed. If you have one yourself, even better. If you haven't, drag it to Morrison's, they won't know. My tank's still looking terrible. Yeah, and it's gone to shite, so I'm going to have to do that by hand. But yeah, it's on its way. Get there eventually.